Hello everyone, welcome to Kitty's Kitchen. Today we're going to make soup with chicken stock. I thought what we'd do is we'd make 3 different types with the same basic ingredients, just to show you that you can make really good soups with basic ingredients with what you have on hand. Okay, let's get started. I've made chicken broth just with some chicken necks, so that's what I have in my pot. Here is the broth. Here I have some of the shredded chicken from making the broth, some moo radish, and if you've never heard of the moo, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if you've ever heard of this radish. It's similar to the daikon radish and they are interchangeable, but I prefer this one, and I think it's pronounced moo. It's spelled M-U. I learned about this from Mungchi's kitchen. This is really a good addition to soups, has almost no carbs, and adds a really good flavor and texture. We'll talk about that more later. So as I said, here's my shredded chicken. I have some shredded radish, some green onions, some carrots. I have an egg here and some shredded deli ham, but you can use cubes of ham, whatever kind of ham that you have will be good. So the first soup that I'm going to make is a chicken egg drop soup. What I have in my little pot here is some of the chicken from making my stock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more broth into my pot. I'm only going to make one bowl at a time for these soups just to show you. I'm just going to show you one at a time so you can see the different varieties. No, what I've added some more chicken broth to my chicken, which is heating on the stove. What I have here is an egg, which I'm going to lightly beat. If I was making this for myself, I'm only using 1 egg, but if I was making it for myself, I would use 2 eggs, or even 3, if I was making this a soup supper. And I like my egg drop soup a little chunkier, but it's whatever you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly drizzle it around like this. Just stir it lightly. The egg doesn't take very much time to cook at all. And if your broth is boiling when you do this, your soup is already essentially done. So there we have it, soup number 1. And that's how quick and easy it can be if you want to make it one bowl at a time as well. It seems like more work, but if you have a family where everyone doesn't like the same thing, this is kind of a good way to do it. Or if somebody's not eating low carb and they still want their noodles or their rice, well, you just cook that separately and you just they can have theirs in their soup. And that's how quick and simple this soup is. And of course you could add other things. This is just the most basic recipe. Perfect. And to make this tastier and look pretty for us, I'm going to put some green onions on top. So I'm going to I like lots of green onions, so I'm going to put lots. Here we are. Okay. So there's our first soup. It's a chicken egg drop soup with green onions. Soup number 2. In my little pot, I have the same shredded chicken that I'm heating. What I'm going to add to that is some shredded cabbage. Another tip for shredded cabbage: when you get home from the grocery store, you can shred your cabbage and put it in a Ziploc bag. Make sure you have all the air out of it, like that. And this will stay in your fridge for a long time. So one day you can have coleslaw, one day you can have soup. My soup is starting to boil and make lots of noise, so I am going to put some more broth in the pot so it doesn't make so much noise. 2, 3. That's the right size for my bowls. And what I'm going to put in with my broth and chicken is a good handful of cabbage, shredded cabbage. It's always good to have shredded cabbage on hand. It's very versatile. It's one of the cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, and you can do a lot of things with it. If I was cooking this for myself, I would cook this a little bit longer. Although I don't mind cabbage that's a little bit on the crunchy side. Sometimes it adds a little bit of texture to your soup. And I'm also going to add a few carrots. Now carrots are a little bit high in carbs, so you don't want too many, but I just happen to have a fish cutout for my carrots, so that we can have little fishes in our soup. I'm going to turn my heat way down. I wanted to make sure it was nice and hot, and it is. I'm just going to stir it lightly again. And our soup is done. So I'm going to put this in a bowl for us as well. So this is, again, a hearty chicken soup with cabbage this time. So you have your shredded chicken, your cabbage, I've put a few carrots. And this soup is very versatile. If you have a different kind of vegetable that you like, by all means put it in. The key to having good low-carb soups and keto soups is to make sure that you have enough meat. When you make your broth, leave some of the fat on top of the soup. That adds flavor, but also ensures that the soup keeps you full, that you won't be hungry in half an hour. I think a lot of times we're used to making soups that aren't so hearty anymore, that they're light and they're just vegetables to fill you up, but we want to have more meat in our soups. So there's our soup number 2 with chicken broth, shredded chicken, and some fish carrots. Now I have to put these on top here so it looks nice for us. Because why bother cutting out carrot fish if you can't see them? Also, I think also, not just for me, but I think for kids, I think they would enjoy that. There's our soup number 2. Soup number 3 with chicken broth. In my little pot here I have the chicken broth that I had at the other 2 soups. To this we are going to add some shredded ham. Shredded ham is a good thing to have on hand for your soups. And there's no law says you can't mix meats. In fact, ham and chicken go really well together. So I'm going to put a good handful of that. I think that's about a half a cup. Like I said, I'm just making one bowl for us. And if you're making a full pot, by all means, add more. But just even a little bit of ham like this in a soup pot, along with your other meat, changes the flavor and makes a really nice hearty soup. So 1, 2, 3. Now that we know that that's the size of my bowls. Again, I'm going to add some more of my shredded cabbage. So again, I'm using similar ingredients, but you can make your soup taste different just with these simple ingredients and by changing it up just a little bit. Here's some shredded cabbage. Let's get this out of the way for us. And this is the radish that I was telling you about. I've just shredded it on my mandolin, but you could also chop it. I'm going to put some of that in there. I quite like this. I like the texture that it gives the soup, and it doesn't boil apart when you cook it. So you get kind of a similar texture to noodles or rice. Just going to give this a stir. Soup number 3 is simmering nicely. What I'm going to add to this, to change it up once again, is some heavy whipping cream. A little tip to make soup go further or to change up some basic recipes is to add cream to your soup. Or, for example, if you've made chicken stock and you've over-salted it, don't add water, add some cream, and then you'll have a cream soup base. So I'm just going to stir this now. So in here we have our chicken, our ham, our cabbage, our radish, and now some cream. So this is a really nice soup for a cold night or anytime. Creamy soup number 3. I'm just going to add a little bit of parsley that I have here. This is curly parsley. You could, of course, cook this in with your soup, but I'm just putting some on for a garnish. Take this out of the way so it doesn't make noise while we're talking. So what we have here is our 3 soups with simple basic ingredients that I think everyone has on hand. The first one was chicken egg drop with some green onions. The second one is chicken cabbage with some carrots for color and variety. And our third soup with chicken, ham, cabbage, some radish, and some cream. I hope you enjoy these recipes. Thank you for watching Kitty's Kitchen.